So this video is going to be talking about the victim identity. So a lot of times when we have been traumatized in childhood trauma and stuff like this, and we've been in very numerous abusive relationships like that, we almost get conditioned into being the kind of more, more passive, more vulnerable person in the actual relationship. And if you've actually normalized abuse through trauma bonding and stuff like this, it can make it very difficult to move away from this kind of personality type. So oftentimes what ends up happening then, people get almost addicted to their own victimhood, and they actually start meeting their needs through their problems. So there's nothing wrong obviously with like kind of vocally ventilating your issues with someone you trust and stuff like that, and alleviating maybe shame, fear, anxiety, stuff like this. But it comes to a point when it's in an extreme and it's completely polarized, and like every topic of the conversation is around meeting your self-esteem needs through your actual problems. So what ends up happening normally is when someone starts doing this, they will take on the mantle, this kind of false self / sometimes real self, of this kind of victim personality or this kind of pain-based personality. And what ends up happening is that when you have that kind of temperament, and that you're actually kind of almost putting on a little bit of a bravado around your problems and stuff like that, and glorifying them, to sensationalize them and stuff like this to friends, family members, stuff like this, people will start treating you like victim, and you confirm that as your identity. The consistency with doing that and thinking that's who you are and stuff like that will actually make you reinforce it even more, and then that actually gives almost kind of this false sense of certainty that is who you are. I can get my needs met through this, and these kind of maladaptive ways of kind of getting your self-esteem met, the self-esteem needs met, and stuff like this can be a bit self-destructive because of something what's called confirmation bias, that whatever you believe you find evidence for. So whatever this kind of cognitive bias it actually is, you'll actually attract, when you're in that kind of victim identity, you'll always attract abusers. So that will reconfirm that you are actually a victim and stuff like this. And this is one of the kind of unconscious, kind of toxic motives behind why some people never actually truly recover from either CPTSD or narcissistic abuse or codependency and stuff like this, because they're almost too held on to that identity. It's almost like this kind of toxic ego investment, that to almost break away from that would mean they would have to give them so much love and stuff like this. And what you have to realise, you have to start meeting needs in a more healthier manner. It does actually require a lot more strength, courage, boldness, a more bolder communication style and stuff like this, and having to put yourself out there a lot more, risking rejection, risking abandonment or criticism or judgment or something like this. So it's kind of moving away from that, and that way you can actually meet your needs in a more healthier manner, taking on the kind of more what I would call a survivor's mentality rather than this kind of victim identity that I've actually survived all this now. I'm actually stronger for it. I'm still here. I managed to actually carry on with my life and stuff like this. And you can update your kind of belief systems, and you can also begin starting to raise your self-esteem and looking for people who actually reconfirm that you're actually, you're happy and whole with who you are and stuff like this. Look at people who support you and stuff like this. There's not this kind of parasitic relationships we have with other people and stuff like this. And definitely when you're in that kind of victim, pain-based personality, you'll just keep reconfirming this with people who are generally typically more narcissistic and abusive in nature. So I hope you guys have enjoyed that video. Any questions, be sure to ask them, subscribe, and have a good day.